All right, boys and girls, welcome back to Adventures of the Broken Retired. I still want to say the name of my business. I'll be your host today. I'm Don. This is my sidekick, Elmer. And we really do appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing and watching the videos. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when new videos come out and you can watch them if you want to. And share if you have somebody you think might like watching this. Share it with them. Why not? Anyway, so I've been on the boat for a few days. It's absolutely beautiful out there in the Gulf. During the day, I mean, the water was just glass smooth the first couple of days I was out there. Being out in the Gulf at night is really something because it's kind of like driving down the interstate because off in the distance there was a lot of rigs out there back then, and so of course at night all the rigs are lit up, and so it was like little cities out there. The work itself, my screen went out. The work itself was pretty hard, and it was dangerous. It was very dangerous work. I remember pulling up one day. We pulled up next to a rig, and there was another boat there, and they were unloading sacks of something. I don't know, like they look like 50-pound sacks. They look like 50-pound sacks of concrete, but I don't know why they'd have concrete on a rig out in the Gulf. But anyway, they had a board going from the boat, the supply boat they were on. They had a board going from the boat to the catwalk on the rig, and they were carrying those sacks one at a time. And yeah, the water's smooth, but the boat is still moving. And I saw them guys carrying those bags and thought, oh man, I hope they never make me do that. That looks horrible. The people that work offshore, quite a few of them are, shall we say, if you've been out there, you understand it. Let's just say they're interesting characters. It's a whole different world being out there. Anyhow, so at night it looks like a city. First few days, I had a blast. It was nice. It really was. I hated the painting and the cleaning, but it is what it is. Then, unbeknown to me, my captain and his sister and their dog, evidently it was the end of their hitch, and they were. Nobody told me it was going to happen. So I see, we go back into Intercoastal City, and I see her and the captain, his sister, and their dog get off the boat, and they didn't come back. Some other guy did. This old guy, probably in his this is bad. Old guy, probably in his 60s, which is where I am now. So I should probably be careful how I say that. But he was an old coon-ass ship captain, and he was nowhere near as much fun as what the other captain and his sister were. Even after all that screaming on the phone, the guy really was a nice guy. He was just mad. But we had with the guy and his sister and their dog in downtime, we had pleasant conversation, and it was nice, with that other guy, it was like Gestapo, Maybe I shouldn't use that word in a video on YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's just say, of course, I can't erase it now because I have no editing capability. But the guy he was brutal. He really was. And that night, the first night that I was on ship with him, the water started getting really rough. I was laying in my bunk sleeping, and I remember I have strange dreams. I still to this day have I have wicked nightmares. But anyway, I've always had strange dreams, and I was in my bunk on the boat sleeping, and I was dreaming that I was in my car. And we were driving down this road, and the car was going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And then I heard the captain hollered at me, which I heard a lot of. I heard the captain hollered at me to come up to the wheelhouse, so I did. It's dark. It's in the middle of the night. I had never been I mean, I had been up there to talk to the other captain, but I'd never spent any time up there. That wasn't my job. Um, and the captain, the old coon ass guy, told me, "I got to get some sleep. You need to drive the boat. All you got to do is just keep the radar exactly where it is right now. Don't touch nothing else. Keep the radar exactly where it is right now. I'm gonna go sleep for a couple hours." Fine with me. Hang on. Excuse the interruption there. Dry throat. Um, so I sat in the captain's chair, and which was really nice. It's kind of like a big barber chair. Um, and I held the wheel on the boat straight, and I stared at that radar. And the reason I was having a dream about going up and down and up and down and up and down was because the water had gotten pretty rough. And so it's dark. The boat has a light that shines out front, but there's nothing for it to illuminate other than waves coming up over the bow and hitting the glass in front of the wheelhouse. So I was not real impressed. That didn't seem to me to be much fun at all. And the radio started going crazy. I couldn't understand a word that was coming across it. But the radio started going crazy. And I did exactly what the captain said to do. He said, "Keep the radar right there and don't touch anything else." So I kept the radar right there and didn't touch anything else. And the radio starts going crazy. And all of a sudden, the captain comes running upstairs, pushes me away from the wheel, and starts hollering and cussing at me and turns the boat. And I was about to have a collision. And what was I doing? And how can I be so stupid? And hey, he said, I'd never done that before. I had no clue. I couldn't see anything out the windows, lights off in the distance. The radio was saying, "Okay," I couldn't understand what the radio was saying. He didn't say, "Listen to the radio." He didn't say, "Watch out for other boats," even. He just said, "Keep it right there." So anyway, he got a little upset with me. And I discovered at that point, of course, I knew I always got motion sick. My whole life, I've gotten motion sickness. When that boat started going up and down on them waves, it got bad. And when he pushed me away from the wheel, I was already using his trash can to try to stop from making a big mess. And when he pushed me away from the wheel, I grabbed it and used it again, and he got mad at me for that. Told me to get out of his wheelhouse, which I was very happy to do. I went back down to where my bunk was and continued feeling very ill. And I was up, if I recall correctly, I was up the rest of the night. The next day, of course, it got light outside because day came. I felt, when they say you feel green from being seasick, man, I felt green from being seasick. I was laying on the deck in the back of the boat, wasn't painting or cleaning. Thank God we didn't have much to do as far as for loading and unloading the boat, because I probably couldn't have done it. Sit tight just a second, please. Happens when I talk too much. I get a dry throat. Anyway, I probably couldn't have loaded or unloaded the boat, especially as dangerous as that was. One of the things that I did, loading and unloading that boat, one of the things that I did was we pulled up next to a rig, and this was when the old Kunas captain was on the boat. I think it was probably the day before I got sick that night. We pulled up next to the rig, and there's a crane way up there, and they lowered down this big tank. Now, all this stuff that you move back and forth on these supply boats is all made to be moved offshore. So it's got places for the crane hook to grab on, and it's all framed in pretty well. This was some kind of a tank, like a big propane tank or something, maybe. I don't know. But the deck of the boat was going up and down probably three feet, maybe a little more than 3 feet. And there's this big tank hanging from the cable on the crane. And what I was supposed to do was when the deck of the boat came up, it would hit the bottom of the tank, the frame of the tank, and at that point, I was supposed to jump on. Then the boat would go down, and when the boat came back up and hit the tank again, it put slack on the cable, and I was supposed to pull the release so that the tank would go back down with the boat. That was a pretty good way to me. That seemed like a pretty good way to lose your feet and your fingers. And I did it because it had to be done. But it scared the ever living daylights out of me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, it took me a while to get it done because the timing had to be just right to jump on the tank, you know. That was scary. Wow, this is gonna go to 3 parts. Anyhow, okay, Elmer, help me out here. Thank you very much for stopping in at Adventures of the Broke and Retired. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. The comments are still coming in absolutely wonderful. I sit here every morning to the comments. It's a blast. And don't forget to don't forget to subscribe. But don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll be made aware of when new videos come out so that you can watch them if you'd like to. And Elmer and I will be back on the other side of this break to finish out with part 3. Okay, Elmer, let them have it. Turn it off. Okay, let's try again, Elmer.